there's so much happening in the lead up to the draft this week. And what I really want to do is just get to Brian Burke, newly named to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And you don't know what's going to happen or what's going to come out of that conversation, although we will, I'm sure, talk about Kevin Lowe in that relationship. But there's just trade after trade, news after news that the National Hockey League right now.
So, I mean, we thought the fireworks would start and maybe end with the Brady Tkachuk deal. Yeah. Not so fast, mister. I mean, the Senators have already flipped the number 9 pick to San Jose for Eklund. Byram
I
gets
love that
traded.
trade. That guy's he's a horse, that guy. Eklund.
Well,
he can shoot it. Just rip it.
And, well, hard to imagine, but maybe the Senators got faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Senators got faster. And I don't think Steve's done. So I think that we might see some more. And then you look at Jarmo Kekalainen trading Bo Byram to Chicago for the 4th pick. I mean, defies everything that we talked about on Monday with Sam, saying top 5, nobody's going to move one of those picks because there's going to be a valuable asset. But if you look what Chicago needs to do, they need to stabilize their team with some veteran leadership. I thought Byram was the best defenseman for the Sabres in the playoffs, but he's not controllable after next year, so that's an issue. Get the 4th.
I wonder why he wouldn't sign long term there.
Or perhaps it's a case of not having enough money to do it for what he wants. I mean, he might get $10 million a year, and perhaps this is a way of, and I'm just throwing things out, is perhaps this is a way that now Alex Tuch can get signed in Buffalo.
Might open that up. You're right.
So that's that. The deal that I'm looking at, the Kyrou for McMichael and a 1st rounder, Washington and St. Louis. I really like Connor McMichael as a player. I really like him. And if somebody said it's going to be McMichael for Kyrou straight up, I would have said, wow, that's a win-win. Kyrou gets a new start somewhere else, plays on a team that, Spencer Carberry can work with Kyrou. Connor McMichael is a quality player that can help the Blues. And then the Blues get a 1st-round pick as well. Oh, my goodness gracious. That to me is, I'm giving an early victory to, Alex Steen, Doug Armstrong, and the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, McMichael's basically a perennial 20-goal scorer with upside.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, but and Jordan Kyrou, let's be honest, Jordan Kyrou has been up and down in St. Louis. And when Doug signed he and Robert Thomas to those long-term deals, about 5 years ago, to suggest that they were going to be the new cornerstone of the franchise. And then, do you remember when Craig Berube got fired? And Kyrou was unsympathetic to Berube, and the next night in St. Louis, they booed Kyrou off the ice. Jordan Kyrou has had an up-and-down career in St. Louis. Really good player. No, I don't doubt that. I just like the deal for the Blues. I think it's a great deal for the Blues for next year and for years to come.
And it sort of solidifies things, right?
I think so.
A lot of what they've done here in the last 6 months has just fortified the foundation with less talk, if you can put it that way. Now, there's still going to be discussion about Binnington. There's still going to be conversations about Alexander Steen taking over and his footprints on it. There's still issues there, but they've taken care of a lot of it. And Doug is still the general manager for a couple of days.
Yes. Right. St. Louis has 11, 15, 16, 29.
Four 1st-rounders.
Yeah.
They're not using them all. So
I don't think so.
No, they're not using them all. So there's more to come here leading up to Friday.
And Buffalo, for the hometown, Buffalo gets to the top of the heap and is picking 4th. And they're going to get a quality player at 4. We know that. Oh, this is.
What do you make of the Simon Nemec trade that Calgary picks up? A player that's been in the rumor mill a little bit, but good young player.
I think so. I think so. But it speaks to. I mean, he came over too young, right? He came over too young, and he's now developing into a good, solid defenseman. But Craig Conroy has so many draft picks, and they need bodies. They need quality bodies to play for the Flames. And so for them to move as many picks, a couple of first rounders at least in that deal, to get Nemec is, in my mind, I think it's a positive for what the Flames need to do now. And it also speaks to where I think the Devils wonder where they're going and what they're doing over the next couple of years. That, to me, that's the fascination for me, is what are the Devils? What are they right now? And what is Sonny Mehta up to when he does that? I'm not sure what it does for the Devils in the short term. Now, Nemec did not have a good second half of the season. I think that's probably fair to say. Did not get near the playing time that he expected to. So they had whether it was Sheldon growing tired of him at some point in the second half of the season. That to me is a fascinating story in what's going on with New Jersey.
It's a tough time to be a first-time general manager with all this chaos going on. I'll put Sonny Mehta in there.
You think?
If you've never done it before, and this is all swirling around you, and you're having to be the guy saying yay or nay to some of these deals, and I don't know how involved they've been on some of the other transactions, but I would think that they would have been.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're a confident guy and you have a plan, to me, I think that it's so volatile that you have an opportunity to put some of your thinking in place. I see what Jake is doing in Toronto like that.
He's been decisive.
So now he's not a first-time general manager, but it's been a while for John. And so whether you like the Radish signing, but he only gave up a 5th-round pick for him.
Wasn't dipping his toe in, though. Like he's been
aggressive. The Joseph Wall trade, you got to like the Joseph Wall trade.
Let's wait on that. Let's see what Joseph Wall ends up being. All right.
But Joseph Wall was not going to be a great goaltender in Toronto. He wasn't. Maybe he is in Philly. He's not going. Wasn't going to be.
If he is in Philly, that's not going to make the trade look any better.
I'm not sure, and I think that this is something to watch, not necessarily this week or in the next 2 weeks, but all summer. I'm not sure where the Maple Leafs are going with their goaltending. I think that's a great question. Where are the Maple Leafs going with their goaltending?
But if Wall ends up being great in Philly, that's going to come back and bite Toronto. That'll be resurrected. So let's just wait and see where it goes.
Well, he's not the starter there. He's just the backup. Dan Vladar is going to be the starter.
Did you watch any of the National Hockey League this year?
Yeah.
Did you happen to notice how many guys started the year as number ones and finished the year either backing up or on different teams?
Are you telling me that goaltenders in the National Hockey League are like running backs in the National Football League?
That is a great comparison analogy. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm going to steal that one.
Oh, sure.
Hey, what did I miss it? Did Mike Babcock, was he humble yesterday, or did I miss it?
Mike Babcock was not humble yesterday. Mike Babcock was Mike Babcock.
Okay, the whole story about the wife telling him you got to get out of there. I don't get that one.
So the Edmonton media handled themselves, I think, really well yesterday. They had a plan. I think as a group, they had a plan.
Oh yeah,
They're going to hit
Rashad
him
let
hard.
them out with a couple of questions.
Yeah, they're going to hit him hard early with the career stuff, and then they're going to slowly morph into the practical Oilers stuff. If I heard Mike Babcock say, "That's an excellent question," one more time,
I appreciate the question.
I appreciate the question. Oh my God. You know, this was I did a hit for Global TV in Edmonton last night. I said, get used to these speeches because we're going to hear these speeches at Edmonton all the time. This is Mike Babcock. And I told somebody, people of our vintage will get this. Anybody under the age of 45 won't understand it. But when we were kids, one of the best shows on television was Happy Days, right? Okay, Happy Days was a great show. You know, Henry Winkler starred.
I was the Fonz. You were Potsy.
No, I was Richie. Or I was Mr. Cunningham. I was probably Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah, there's a bit of a look there.
Me and Tom Bosley. That's right. So there was every once in a while, Henry Winkler's character, Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz, would make a mistake. And in part of the whole theme of the show was Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fonz, could never say, I was wrong. No. It was, he couldn't do it. He could not do it. He could not say
that sounded like Babcock, actually, what you just did.
Well, I might get into it. I had a great Babcock impression for years on the radio in Toronto, just for the record. He's a good player. He's a good player.
I thought as he's going for his run.
Mike Babcock yesterday was Arthur Fonzarelli.
Yeah.
He could not say he was wrong. He could not say he made a mistake. It was men are men. You know, we got to be men. Sometimes I say things out of my mouth that I want to take back. You know, technically he will be a very good coach for the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh yeah.
He will be. He will be a very good coach. And if they go 7-1, this all goes away.
I love him as a coach. I just was expecting a little bit more on the human side of it yesterday, because it made it sound like it was his decision to leave Columbus.
Oh, yeah. I think that might have.
Did it not yesterday?
I think it might have peeved a few people in Columbus about yesterday's stuff. You know, so. We'll see what happens.
But you're right.
But by the way, now everybody worried about Connor McDavid. If Connor doesn't Connor's complicit in this. Connor signed off on this. So
and Babs
Connor's
knows
going to have to answer this.
Yeah. So when the feet get held to the fire, it's what I tell my wife all the time. You wanted the Aussie Shepherd. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
You wanted this. Third remote down. You wanted this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, it will be fascinating to watch, as will the draft on Friday. So,
Burke's in the green room. We started. I thought we were going to have boatloads of time waiting for Burke as we recorded our intro to this. Now he's waiting. That's how much stuff is going on. The Byram trade was awesome. Like I really do like that for Chicago. I think Chicago.
I like it, but I like it for Buffalo too. I like it for Buffalo. I think that, you know, as the Sabres morph, they got a lot of strength on the blue line already. They do. They've got
Edmonton also a couple of free agent signings. So.
Yep. Well,
Murphy, Dickinson.
Yeah. Well, and Nurse, their own, right?
Did I hear Nurse might go back?
Well, I would not be surprised.
Report that?
Yes. I would not be surprised now that Mike is there. You know, Darnell's part of that inner core. You know, when you see the team together, you know, Darnell, Leon, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and Connor. If I'm Darnell and the other guys are saying, wow, this is going to be great, why not try to stick it out?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's not going to be an easy trade to do anyway.
No. So
That cash. So Berkey elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame. We'll get into that, how he found out, etc. Lots of stories with Brian Burke. Next on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon. Marion. That's Tom Bosley.
You're wrong.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Freshly minted after his being named to the Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony to come later in 2026. Is soaking in on you that you're going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, Brian Burke?
A little bit. It's still a shock. It's something you never planned for. No one ever wakes up as a kid and says, someday I'll be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. You said to make the midget team and the Daren team, or whatever team you're going to make, and you keep playing. You make high school and you make college. No one ever thinks about the Hockey Hall of Fame. At least I never did.
You were on the other side for so long on the selection committee, so you know the debate that would go on about Brian Burke, don't you?
Well, I was never nominated until I was, and then you have to recuse yourself. So someone nominated me. I don't know who. And they call you, and Mike Gardner calls you and says, you have an opportunity. You can choose to refuse to be nominated or to recuse yourself and step back from the whole process, which I did. Then you're waiting for the call whether you get it or not.
So you knew you were nominated?
Yeah, I recused myself. I had to take myself out of the deliberations.
Huh. That's a little unusual, too, because a lot of times people don't know whether they've been nominated or not, so they're just sitting there hoping. You actually knew that there was a discussion taking place. Did that make it more nerve-wracking?
Well, I'm not. I never took any of this for granted, so yeah, it was nerve-wracking. But the same thing happened with David Boyle a couple of years ago. Someone nominated him, he recused himself, then he had to sit and wait. So I'd seen someone go through it before.
You talked about not planning to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. When did you plan to be in hockey?
I moved to Minnesota when I was 12. I started playing hockey that summer, that fall, at 13. I moved to Minnesota. The Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament was on TV. We were stuck. We had 10 kids in my family. Our moving truck got hit with a blizzard somewhere in Pennsylvania. So we got stuck in Minneapolis. We had 2 rooms in a Howard Johnson's motel with 10 kids watching the Minnesota State High School tournament. And I fell in love with the game right there.
That's impressive that with 10 kids gathered around the TV that hockey won out. That's a statement right there that it was meant to be.
Well, you could see in Minnesota, if you wanted to be someone, you had to play hockey. If you wanted to fit in, you had to be a hockey player. I fell in love with the game. The state tournament was so exciting. Metropolitan Stadium arena full up for twice every night. 2 games on Thursday afternoon, 2 games Thursday night, Friday night. All the games televised. It was so exciting. I fell in love with the game.
Were you natural?
Me, I'm not natural at anything, Daren. I have very little.
The bullshit factor. The bullshit factor is pretty natural, Brian. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, I'm Irish, so I guess. But I'm not a natural athlete anyway. I played high school baseball up to grade 10. I played football through high school. I was a 2-sport athlete, but I wasn't very good.
So did you play in the tournament as a student?
No. I didn't play high school hockey until I was a senior.
And that was in Edina?
Edina West, yeah. Edina East beat us and went to the tournament. I played 1 year of high school hockey, never played in the high school tournament, never had a hockey card, never did any of the stuff that normal kids do. It cracks me up. People say, you have a hockey card from when you played Pee Wee? Like, no, I didn't play Pee Wee. First I played it was a Bantam.
Okay, so if you played 1 year of high school hockey, how the heck did you get to Providence?
Lou Lamoriello came to see me. My high school coach, Bob O'Connor, the late great Bob O'Connor, insisted that Lou come to see me play. He saw me play as a junior in Little Caesars Pizza in the national tournament. And Lou looked at Bob O'Connor and said, kid's never going to play. Came back a year later and recruited me. I walked down as a freshman. I didn't get any money in my first year. I got a half scholarship my second year, full my third, full my fourth.
Wow. You just kind of work your way into it?
Worked my ass off. I had 4 rules. I knew I had to do something exceptional to make it. No one from Minnesota who starts playing hockey at 13 makes it anywhere. It's too hard, too late. I had 4 rules. 1, be the hardest worker, practice any games. 2, be a coach's dream. Coach never had to say to me, you're out of position. I was always in the right place. 3, be a great teammate. And 4, play tough, play hard. And those 4 rules got me as far as the American League, where again I watched out.
You're still in the lowest percentile of guys that get to professional hockey, Brian. It's not a bad thing.
Oh no, I loved it. I played 1 year pro, won a Calder Cup. I loved the guys. I loved playing. I wanted to keep playing. I just wasn't good enough. Keith Allen was my GM. He was, God bless him, the late great Keith Allen. He came to see me play. And I called him. I said, what should I do? I had applied to Harvard Law School when I was still in school. I got deferred for a year. They told me you either come this year or you give up your place and reapply. And I went and met with the lady from admissions. She looked at my application and she said, Mr. Burke, you were not the first young man we accepted in your class. So it's basically you come or you're not getting in again. So I had to go. It was too big an opportunity for me. I wasn't a very good hockey player.
So it was a slam dunk. Like, honestly, if you go back, I'm sure there was some strings being pulled towards keep playing. But how much of a slam dunk in the end was it for you?
Well, my dad was my closest advisor. He's gone now, but he was my best friend and closest advisor. He said, "Look, Brian, I had 3 goals that year. Playing, I was a forward. Everyone thinks I was a defenseman. I was a forward." Had 3 goals. I played like 65 games. I wasn't very good. We had a really good team. I had trouble playing. So I knew in my heart I'd gotten as far as I could go. But I just wanted to keep playing. I loved it. And so I told my dad, I'm going to keep playing. And Mr. Allen told me, you should go back. And Lou Lamoriello told me I should go back. But Mr. Allen was the deciding vote. He said, look, you have another year on your contract. I signed a 1+1, 1 plus an option. He said, you're welcome to come back. We love having guys like you around. I was tough. I was really active in the community. Bob McCammon said one time I was at the hospital so often they thought I was an intern visiting kids. And so they wanted, Keith said, you want to come back, come back. We'd love to have you. But you want my advice? Go to law school. You're not going to make it. It was really great advice.
But even at that point, Brian, going to Harvard Law School, you said, I still want to be in the hockey world, or you were prepared to go to Wall Street? You were prepared to go to Bay Street? You're prepared to go where?
I didn't know, John, I had never made a plan in my life. I never had a plan for anything. I remember my first week of law school, I was talking to a kid there, and he said, I want to be a litigator. I didn't even know what a litigator was. I said, I want to graduate. That's all I wanted to do. I had no idea. Then I started clerking and working part-time in a law firm. I scouted for the Flyers my first year, a part-time volunteer, working for the late, great Walter Tanis. He gave me a scouting job. I remember my first scouting meeting, I went to watch Boston College, Brian Leach, Kevin Stevens, Doug Brown. There were all these players in the game. I filed my report. I was so proud. I filled out my report and I gave it to Walt. Walter Tanis ripped it in half. He said, you're too high. You're giving all these 9s and 8s. They should be 6s and 7s. I'm like, these are really good players. He said, you're too high. Do it again. So I did it again. Gave him 6s and 7s. He ripped it up again. That was my first introduction to scouting. I was no good at it.
Well, you nailed the good players.
Yeah, I rated Kevin Stevens and Brian Leach the 2 best players I saw that year. Both pretty good players. That's pretty good. 25 games. All UNH, Providence, Boston College, everyone.
How'd you get the Flyers job scouting while you were at law school? I'm just curious about that connection.
I talked to Mr. Allen. He said, talk to Walt the tennis. They said, we have no budget for you, but we can put you on. We'll pay your parking. And they paid, like I drive to Boston College, it was $3 to park. They'd pay you that. They paid for my ticket, which was $3, but that was it. There's no money. So my second year, I got a job working part-time in a law firm for $10 an hour, which in 1978 is a lot of money, and or 1979, and I had to take that, so I only scouted the 1 year. I had no plan, though, John. You're asking what plan I had. I had none. People plan their whole lives out. I applied to law school because Lou Lamoriello told me to.
So when you talk about influences, you've mentioned some pretty important guys. Lou still part of your life?
Oh yeah, I love him. I owe him so much. We're very different people, but I owe Lou everything. So my senior year, I'm not even going to law school. I'm not planning on going to law school. And the secretary calls me and says, Coach wants to see you, which is never good when you call in Lou's office. It's never good. Something's wrong. So I'm thinking to myself, I didn't break curfew. I didn't do anything wrong. Some freshman must have got in trouble. So I go to Lou's office. He's got the LSAT, the application for the law school application test. Got the LSAT application. He shoves it across the desk at me. He says, you're taking this exam. Your professor's telling me if you do well on it, you'll get into Harvard or Yale. So look at LSAT. I shove it back. I said, Coach, I'm not going to law school. I don't want to be a fucking lawyer. He shoves it back. He said, you don't understand. It was not a request. You're writing the fucking exam. I said, Coach, I don't want to go to law school. He said, just write the exam. He let me be late for practice to write the LSAT, which you never we never could be late for practice. So I did it. I get it back. I get the letter at the student union. I go up to the secretary's office so no one can see me open it. It's a thin paper, 1 page. So I'm thinking it's a reject letter. I go up, open the letter. It's 704, 98th percentile in the world that year. I get into Harvard, I get into Georgetown, all because of Lou. I had no plan.
Oh, and you actually think you and Lou aren't very much alike? I might see a little bit of similarity there, Brian.
I owe him so much. I'm going to thank him more than thank anyone when I give my speech.
Where are you and Lou alike, and where are you different?
Well, he's a little more black and white than I am. I had like the haircuts and the curfews and stuff. I didn't see a need for that. One time, Brent Sopel, I got asked by the media. Brent Sopel had the Jesus haircut, right? And someone said to me, why don't you get him to tell Brent Sopel that haircut? I said, I have pictures of me playing in the American League where I look just as stupid as Brent does. So I'm not going to tell him anything about his hair.
And where are you guys different? I'd
say that we're similar in that we both love to win and we're both committed to character. Lou bases everything on character. I was asked to make the team as a walk-on freshman. I made it just because they bet on me. I wasn't the best player that made that team, but he bet on me to get better, and I did. I went to Providence College with 177 pounds. Same height I am now, 6'2", 177 pounds, bone rack. I graduated, I was playing at 207, 40 pounds heavier. I didn't gain any height, just built up. And Lou bet on me to do that, and I did.
Let's take a break. We'll continue with Brian Burke, newly elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Burke's with us today. John, you had something that you were going to chime in there?
So we've talked a lot about it in the game of hockey in the last 5 or 6 years about agents morphing into managers. Well, last I checked, you started as an agent and morphed into a manager too. This is not a new thing in the game, is it?
No, it's very commonplace. And T. Lombardi was right ahead of me. He went from the agent side to management. But they've done it in baseball and basketball a couple times before that even. This goes back 30 years now, 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's a skill set that's transferable, negotiating contracts, representing players. But you need a sports background as well. That's where most guys can't do it. Can't make the switch.
Who is your best client?
Joel Otto or Brett Hull. Joel Otto was great because he took way less money to sign with Cliff Fletcher in Calgary than Craig Patrick and the New York Rangers offered him. They'd offered him more money, but Craig was going to withdraw the offer because someone told him he couldn't skate. I called Joel. I said, Joel, we're going to Calgary for way less money. I'll get you more money if you re-sign, which I did. So Joel Otto was a great client, great kid too, and Brett Hull was just so much fun to work with.
Well, the amazing thing too is Joel. I mean, it was a right move career-wise and lifestyle-wise. Joel's still there. He's still a big member of the community there.
And he looks like he could still play, the son of a bitch. He doesn't look, he hasn't aged at all. He's still in shape. His face looks the same. It's really embarrassing to a guy like me.
What was Brett like as a client? Emotional? He
was very
distant?
No, he was a lot of fun. He was a great guy. He took my advice seriously, listened very carefully when I talked. I told him that's what we need to do. He would do it. He would come through every time. And he became a very wealthy, very successful player because of it. He's a great, great client.
Were you involved then in Cliff's trade with St. Louis?
No, it's after I left.
Oh, and that was after Brett had you were already, where were you in Vancouver by then already?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Pretty sure Bob Goodnow, the late great Bob Goodnow, was representing Brett by then.
Right, yeah.
So of all the jobs that you've had in the game, putting aside money and status, what was the most fun job?
Oh, it had to be Anaheim because we won the Cup, and the owners are such wonderful people. They fought me on one thing, on the budget. I wanted to make a deal. I wanted to trade for Keith Tkachuk. And Mr. Samuelli, who was new to the business, he said, look, I'm never going to overrule you on a hockey deal, but that puts you over budget, and we can't do that. But I said, fine. The one time he said no to me, he was right. He should have said no. But that was the most fun. We put that team together. We went to the conference final my first year in Anaheim. Knew we were close. We had a meeting. We said, okay, are we a good team or are we just riding a great goalie and get hot? We said, we're a good team. And they said, what do we need? We said, Chris Pronger. I said, well, that'll be easy. No one else wants him. So we got Chris Pronger. We had a parade. It was awesome.
How do you go about getting Chris then? We know he was available because he wanted out of Edmonton, but you also knew that you were battling against other people. He was on your radar before, and then how did you get him?
We were at the draft, and we had talked to Kevin Lowe, and Scott Housen was the assistant chairman of the Oilers at the time, came to each of 4 tables. So he came to our table in Anaheim. He went to Detroit, Toronto, I want to say New York, maybe San Jose. I just got to ask Scott Housen about this a couple of weeks ago. He told me the 4 teams. They dropped off an envelope to the 4 teams table. So Bob Murray opens the envelope. It says, first round pick, Joffrey Lupul and Laddie Smead. And I said, I'll do this on the. So I said to Bob Murray, I said, we'll do this, won't we? Like Joffrey Lupul had just been our best forward in the playoffs that year. He was a really good player, a really good kid too. And Laddie Smead was an up-and-coming Czech defenseman. So I said to Bob Murray, I said, what am I missing here? Let's do this. We went until we made him wait like 10 minutes to make it look better. We said, we'll do it. And then the league came back and said there's a tagging room issue, a salary cap issue. So I said to Kevin Lowe, who I was still being friends with at the time, I said to Kevin, shake hands, we got a deal. We'll do it after July 1st. So we did. So I called Laddie Smead. It's a great story. I told him, Laddie, he was in the Czech Republic, and I was just going to tell him I traded him. And he's in some noisy bar or restaurant. I said, Laddie, you got to get somewhere where you can hear me. He says, okay. He's a great kid, Laddie Smead, wonderful young man. He gets in a quiet area. I said, Laddie, I just traded you. He goes, oh, where? I said, Edmonton. He said, oh, good hockey market. For whom? He said, for who, actually? I said, for Chris Pronger. And he holds out the phone to the bar and he yells, I just got traded for Chris Pronger. I said, there's other things. There's more. There's more. It's not one for one. But great kid. So we made the deal. And then Kevin was driving to the shoe swap on July 1st. I said, you want to make the deal? He said, I'll pull over and we'll call the league. I said, no, just go home. We'll do it tomorrow. I trust you. He said, I'm punching your ticket to the conference final. I said, you are. And you know what? I'll give you another first rounder if we play in the conference final. So it's 2 first rounders, Laddie Smead and Joffrey Lupul.
So the second first rounder was like an afterthought throw-in?
Yeah, I could have said no. He would have done the deal without that, but I thought he was right. When we got Chris Pronger, we started planning parades right away. I told our team that fall, you don't talk about winning the Stanley Cup. It's not good. It's not good luck. I told our team, you will never have a better chance to win a championship than we do right now. No one will. This group can win, and we did. We lost 5 games that year in the playoffs, 16-5.
So I don't want to gloss it over because it's important, but because between the time you were with Brett Hull and Chris Pronger, you were with Pat Quinn. And Pat Quinn was, and you and I have talked about this many times, an influence well beyond any of us, but Pat Quinn changed the fortune of your life as well, correct?
Yeah, Pat and Sandra. And I mentioned Sandra because Pat's gone, obviously. Pat was such a great man, and Sandra was a big influence as well. But Pat was big on fairness. One thing he taught me when he hired me, he said, you got to be fair to everybody. He said, I don't know players to make them rich or happy. I want them to be fair to them. And fairness was a big thing. I've taken that to this day as my number one priority is to be fair with players. Pat was a great man.
Did you get any arguments with Pat when you were the disciplinarian? You were Gary's right-hand guy? You and Pat get in arguments?
Oh, yeah. I suspended Gino. Gino Ojic tried to fight 5 guys on the St. Louis Blues in one game. I suspended him, and Pat told me, driving home, he said, you don't know enough about hockey to do this job. I said, well, I knew enough when I was your right-hand man. I hung up on him. Yeah, we had some real we were playing one night, and Pat Quinn hated Cole, Don Kowarski, hated referees generally, hated all referees, but hated Cole with a passion. And one night we were playing in the Pacific Coliseum and we lost. We were going downstairs. You remember, John, I had to walk down past the press box, down, over, and way down, way down, way down, way down. And the last thing to pass was the officials' room. So you get to the officials' room, and Pat stops. I said, Pat, what are you doing? He said, I'm going in there. I'm going to punch Kowarski. I said, no, you're not. We can't afford the fine. You're not going to do it. And he stood over me. He said, get out of my way, or in 30 seconds you'll be a goddamn corpse. And I was like, I was shaking. Pat was shaking so mad. Pat used to get mad. He would start shaking. And I'm sitting there going, I'm going to get killed by this big Irishman. Because Pat was going to hit me. I could tell. And I'm like, I'm not getting up if he hits me. I'm staying down. He'll knock me cold. But he thought about it for a while and finally said, fuck you, and stormed off. Pat was a great man. What a smart man. What a good guy.
Well, I don't think hockey would be where it is in Vancouver because it's part of the fabric now. And when you guys were there, they weren't selling out, Brian. There weren't many people in the building.
So I was there twice with the Canucks. We had the same trajectory. First time Pat built it back up. Pat made such great trades. It's unbelievable trades he made. look at this record as a trader. The last one that put us over the top was the one with St. Louis. And it was a trade that, it set us up for 5 years. And with Ronnie Carano said, gee, I'm a really good, smart GM. And Pat just skinned them. And Pat was so smart. And we just got
What trade was that, Brian?
Was that Cliff Ronning and Jeff Courtnall?
Yeah, Jeff Courtnall, Cliff Ronning, Robert Dirk, Sergio Amesso, and a pick. And he hung in there. He made the prop wait a day for the pick. He said, I want a third-round pick. And Ronnie Carano said, Cliff, or said, Pat, pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered. You do not insist on a pick. The deal is fair. He said, I'm not doing it without a pick. So he hung up the phone. I said to Pat, God damn it, we're going to lose this deal over a pick, a third-round pick. What's the big deal? I'll make the deal. He said, no, he'll make the deal tomorrow with the pick, and he did. So Pat, we just kept getting better. Pat was so good at that. And then when I went back, Mike Keaton was the coach, the mess was there. And I fired Mike, and the same thing, Crow, but we brought the crowds back. We got the Twins. Crowds came back. It was the same trajectory of going from an almost empty building to a full house.
What's your relationship with Kevin Lowe now?
Well, we were having dinner one night with Brendan when Brendan was still alive, and I made a comment about Kevin Lowe. And Brendan said to me, he said, Dad, weren't you friends with Kevin Lowe once? I said, yeah. He said, didn't you take him on your fishing trip? I said, yeah. He said, so why can't you put this to bed? I said, Brendan, we're Irish. I expect you to carry on my grudges after I'm gone. We're Irish. And he said, no, I don't approve. He said, Kevin was your friend. It was a stupid thing to get in an argument about. You should fix that. So not long after Brendan died, Steve Tamlini called me. I said, Tammy, tell Kevin we got to mend that fence, and we have.
Oh, good.
Darn, I was going to book the barn.
I know. Kevin started that whole thing. I was being an asshole about it. And Kevin had enough one day. He did an interview. He had a couple glasses of wine. He said, I'm so sick of Brian Burke. Tell Brian Burke anytime, anywhere. So I called Flats. I said, that is not how you ask someone to fight. Here's how I ask someone to fight. August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I'll be at the Holiday Inn Lake Placid. Tell Kevin to show up. I'll run a barn. I'll kick the shit out of him. I'll drive him to the hospital. And Bettman got a hold of it and called me and he said, I hear rumors about this fight. I think Slats told on me.
Oh. All right.
What did Bettman say?
Huh?
What did Bettman say?
He said, I'll suspend you both for longer than your contracts if you get in the bar fight.
All right. You mentioned the commissioner. I would expect that he's another guy that when you look at those train of people, Lou Lamoriello, Pat Quinn, Gary Bettman falls into that mentorship too, correct?
Yes. But Gary falls into that mentorship for the whole league. I mean, he's turned this business around by himself. Single-handedly led the league to the greatness we've had. So my experience with him was, again, number one thing, you got to realize how smart Gary is. I went to Harvard Law School. I'm nowhere near as smart as Gary Bettman. We have a saying, there's Bettman, there's smart, and there's Bettman smart. And Bettman smart's like warp speed. I never got there. I'd be sitting in collective bargaining, and he'd be like, well, that won't work, because I'd be 3 steps behind him going, come using my fingers, counting the steps. He'd be way ahead of me, and he's a wonderful man. Great vision for the league. He's always looking 5 moves ahead. Like, I'm an Irishman, right? We're looking one hill. We see one hill. Okay, there's one hill. We got to climb that hill. Bettman sees 7.
Well, I can't believe a Harvard Law School guy is complimenting the guy from Cornell, though. That's,
Well, he went to NYU Law School, too.
Yeah. Hey, in my time there, what used to drive me nuts is that anytime you talk to him and he asked you a question, he knew the answer. He was just testing you. That was part of it. Was he would ask you something and then he'd say, "Oh yeah, I knew that." So
I remember when I worked for him the first year, I told him something about a slap shot of a puck on edge, a rolling puck. That was hard for the goalie. And 5 years later, we're at a game together. 5 years later, he's been at 150 games a year, every year. Same thing happened. He goes, I remember when that happened in Hartford when you were at the game with me. He'll slap the rolling puck on its edge. How does he remember that?
Question for you.
Go ahead,
John.
Daren. No,
okay,
you go.
Players calling their shots mid-contract is a trend right now around the National Hockey League. Does that worry you? What's your opinion on it?
Well, it bears watching for sure. I think it's too early to say it's a problem, but sure have to watch it. It seems to be Americans and tax-free states too. So I worry about it. Not enough instances has happened where it's a problem. And I would say to our teams, give fewer no trades if you don't want no trade issues. Give fewer no trades. These full no trade, no moves. I don't think I ever gave one, maybe one. I think even Phil Kessel, I think he had 8, no fly zone for 8. So I don't think I ever did. If I did, I'm wrong. I'll admit it. Then someone would call me, and after they watch this podcast and tell me I was wrong. But I don't think I ever did. They'll give fewer no trades. But the other thing too is it's at some point going to have to be if someone with time remaining on their contract demands a trade, they have to give a list of 6 teams or 8 teams. Got to be a CBA issue, or avoid the no trade altogether.
Tough to do that. Agents use it as equity, as leverage now, don't they?
Yep, but there's a lot of guys like I don't think the GM in Tampa Bay has ever given a full no trade. Now, how can he be disciplined and no one else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You touched on Hartford. Would it be fair to say that that's the one blemish on your career, other than the 18-wheeler?
I have lots of blemishes. Hartford was a great year. The owner and I didn't see eye to eye.
Yeah,
we had a great year. Our team got better. It was the toughest team I ever had. And we drafted Chris Pronger, we had the 6th pick. We moved up. It was my first big trade. I was shitting my pants before I made that deal. I was a brand new GM first year. I'm making the biggest trade in my life.
What, did you give away a truck or something for the most hits in a game? Or what was the Kipper story that he used to tell?
That was I think that was a Dodge hard truck thing of the hard most hits. I think Kipper won it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to do with that.
Couldn't do it now. No. Can't do it now.
Right.
Contravene the CBA.
I remember when Ray Burke won a truck for being the MVP of the All-Star game. Gary says, so I can't go down. You go down and give him the truck. So I went down and gave him the keys to my truck. He watched Burke skates over, and I'm saying to him, those are my keys, Raymond. If you lose those keys, I will fucking kill you. Watch him skating over, talking about it. I'm supposed to be saying, great job. You played great. What a star. I'm like, if you lose those keys, I'll kill you.
That was the 1996 All-Star game in Boston that Burke scored in the last minute of play to win. That was, and we actually we're sitting on the bench. Brian, you're 10 feet behind me. We're sitting on the bench, and we changed the MVP. I can't remember who was supposed to win the MVP. We changed the MVP because Burke won.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And Gary says, give Ray the keys. And I'm like, I don't have any keys. I don't have the keys to the truck, so give me yours. I had my van keys and my house keys and like Raymond, because a lot of his friends called him Raymond. I said, Raymond, if you lose these keys, I will kill you. I will find you and kill you.
That's one of the best stories I've heard like that. Toronto, what's the challenge to winning there?
I didn't get the job done in Toronto. There's no magic secret. I had no problems with ownership, no interference. I just didn't get the job done. Like people say, like John just said about a blemish. There's one blemish. There's lots of blemishes on my record. That's one. I could not get the job done there.
Is it different in Toronto? Like, is it more challenging? It is harder.
It's just harder because of the size of the media. They have this massive room for the dressing room. Why do you have such a big dressing room? It's not for the players. It's for the media. In Calgary, we had a big room, but we had John will work there. He'd been in Calgary. You've been there, Daren. There might be 40 people in there after a game, 40 media. on a Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada game in Calgary, there's maybe 50.
Mm-hmm.
In Toronto on a Tuesday against Columbus, there's maybe 75. And on Hockey Night in Canada, it's Montreal, it's 150 people out in the hallway. Not even in the room, they're out in the hallway. So it's just a bigger job, but it's doable. Someone's going to figure it out.
Is it truly a media issue? I mean, there's got to be more to it than that.
I don't think I didn't say it's a media issue. I said it's hard. I don't think the media is unfair. Social media, you got to ignore completely.
Right.
But the mainstream media that covered us in Toronto, they were fair. We played shitty, they said that. We played well, they said that. We had no issue with the media. They were fair. Now, what happens in Toronto is they turn on one or two guys every year. Larry Murphy is Dion. They turn on Brian McCabe. Now they're turning on Morgan. So you see it happening. And I don't think you can do anything about that. But other than that, I love working in Toronto. I'd work there again.
Go
ahead.
Are you asking more about Toronto, Daren?
Nope. I was going to go somewhere else. Go.
Oh, so was I. So when you get up and speak in November, this is obviously an important family moment for you. You have been a devoted father. I remember stories of you flying home for the weekend from Anaheim to Boston to see the kids. You talked about losing Brendan. When you get into the Hockey Hall of Fame, put in perspective, if you could, what the family has gone through to get you to this level.
Well, I flew back and saw my kids every other weekend for 11 years. Including Anaheim, including Vancouver, including Toronto. And that's part of the reason I got out of Anaheim. I couldn't keep doing that travel. I said to Mr. Samuel, I said, I can't keep doing this travel. I won you a cup, now I get to pick. I'm not flying coast to coast to see my kids. So no one paid for any of those flights. So like Ken King paid for some of them if I had a scouting trip on part of them. But Anaheim and Vancouver, I paid my own way all 11 years. So a lot of sacrifice, but that was all self-inflicted because of the divorce. So I don't blame my kids for that. I blame family situation for that. And we made it work. And I have great kids, and I love them very much. I'm very proud of them.
And look back. I mean, your son Patrick's done a good job for the league.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Patrick. He's doing a great job for player safety. He's found that you can play on behalf of the family. So we when Brendan died, we said we had a meeting. We had a family meeting. It was just the girls weren't around yet, or I guess they were real young at that point. But Katie, Patrick, and Molly and I had a meeting and said we got two choices. We can just put our heads down, sit by the side of the road and hope, or we can make a difference to make Brendan's memory important. And that's what we did.
What was the most fun job that you had in hockey?
Fun job I had in hockey. Probably something to do with the international side of the Olympics in Vancouver. It was a sad time. It was right after Brendan died, but it was cool being an Olympic GM, putting on the country's colors. And I never was good enough as a player to play in the Olympics, so it's quite a thing for me to get to work in the Olympics. I'd say that was cool.
Here I thought you were going to say 1998 in Nagano. First time the NHLers get there, and you get sent to Nagano to be a part of the NHL contingent, and you sat and drank beer with us every night.
Not every night. I remember one night, went in the bar. I got asked to go to the bar. You never get invited to the bar when you're in charge of discipline. But Team Canada asked me to go to this bar, this little crappy bar in Nagano. And some civilian was in there. He started giving me a real hard time. And Eric Lindros came over and said, I think you should leave Mr. Burke alone. He's had a very trying week. And that was the end of it. I didn't have to threaten him. I didn't have to threaten to beat the shit out of him. Eric Lindros came over and told the guy to get lost.
By the way, the name of the bar was Wins, the WINDS, Wins, and it was right downtown Nagano.
Yeah.
Who have you heard from? The Twins? The
Biggie,
Kevin Lowe? Who?
Kevin Lowe, I haven't heard from Kevin Lowe yet, but I'm at 500 messages and counting. So I'm sure Kevin sent a message or will. He's really good. After we won the Cup, he was the first guy that sent me a note.
Really?
Yeah, first guy after we won the Cup. I was still on the ice. So Kevin will send a note. Steve Tambolini did already. All the guys I work with, Dave Nonis, all those guys, Dave Poulin, Stevie Stas, all those guys will send notes. And Mark Messier sent me a nice note. John Chaika sent me a nice note, which I appreciated.
What's the challenge for Chaika?
Well, so far, he's hitting on all 8 cylinders so far. Whether you like him or not, he's off to a great start. They win the lottery, makes a good trade to get the D-man. Trades Joseph Wall, gets money, frees money up. I like the job he's doing. A much better start than I had.
Trying to think back to your start. Was there anything major there? You had the trade with San Jose, I guess, right?
Wasn't the Kessel trade? Wasn't it Phil?
At the end of my first year, so yeah.
And then you said Phil couldn't wear a big number, and then Phil wore a big number.
I had a rule about numbers, but I forgot to tell Phil that before he got him. And Mikhail Grabowski called right away. He's like, well, if he's got a high number, I got a high number. I'm like, God damn. We won a cup in Anaheim. In Anaheim, we won a cup. Our highest number was 35.
No, Pronger was 44. No, he was 20. He was 20 in
20, yeah.
44 in Edmonton, 20 in Anaheim, yeah.
Yeah, like Getzlaff wore 51. I made him go to 15. Corey Perry, I made them all under 35. Same thing in Toronto, except I forgot to tell Phil.
By the way, that's very Lamoriello-ish.
I know. I know. I was just thinking the same thing.
Phil was awesome, wasn't he?
He was great, but they turned on him too. They hated him.
Yeah.
The thing was, Phil didn't care what you thought of him, and that drives people nuts. A lot of fans think you, as a fan, should care about my feelings about you as much as you do. And you're as a hockey player, Phil's like, I don't care what you think. I just care. I remember one time he was getting a lot of abuse in the media. I said, Phil, do you want me to shoo the flies away, or I'm going to have a little rant here and get them off your back? He looked around the room like this. Burke, the only guys I care about are all in this room. He couldn't care less. And that drives people nuts. They think you, as a fan, should care what they think. Drives them nuts when they don't.
I'm curious. In your job as executive vice president of the NHL, we would describe video review in your first few years as rudimentary compared to what it is today. Where do you like where video review is?
Yeah, we all went very reluctantly to replay. All sports did. Baseball fought it, football fought it, basketball fought it, we fought it. Because the most important customer is the guy who bought a ticket to that game. That's your most important customer that night. And have him sit through reviews or her is crazy. So we all went reluctantly to it. I think we've hit a good balance with ours. Some of them are too long. I think they should have a time limit except in the playoffs. They have a 14-minute review. Make the call. Move on.
Is there a way to...
It was very, very primitive, not rudimentary, primitive. We had 4 VCRs. That's all we had.
Yeah.
And Glenn Adamo, who you all know, broadcast guy, good guy, he would come in. He'd say, which 4 games do you want to tape? They weren't even all televised. We'd pick the hot spots. So Chicago and Detroit were having an issue. Pick them. 7 o'clock game time. So 7:10 puck drop. Nothing happens in the first 20 minutes. They start the thing at 7:30. No one ever gets suspended in the first 5 minutes of the game. No one ever does. It takes them time to get to the boiling point. So start the recording at 7:30 and pray it doesn't go into overtime. We got home. Remember Peter Forsberg got clipped in the face with a stick by Billy Guerin in Edmonton one night. They had the goalie out there trying to score, and Peter Forsberg got clipped right in the face. Billy Guerin caught. So I get a call. I'm at a game in Philly that night. This game's begun. It's underway. The game's over. The goalie's out of the game. Game's almost over. I'm just driving back after the game from Philly. I'm on the New Jersey Turnpike, and Pierre Lacroix calls. He goes, "It's worse than the Kennedy assassination." I said, we all called him Father Pete. I said, "Father Pete, what's going on?" He said, Billy Guerin just tried to behead Peter Forsberg. Behead him. So I said, "Father Pete, I'm an hour and a half away on the Jersey Turnpike. I taped that game. Let me look at it. I'll call you back." So then Bettman calls me. "What happened in Edmonton?" I said, "Gary, how the fuck should I know? I'm driving back." I said, I recorded it, but the goalie's out. It's late in the game, so we don't know if we got it or not. The ice, an ice problem, or Zamboni broke down. You don't get it on the recording. But Dave noticed the game on the island that night. So I said to Davey, "Get back there and look at it and tell me what it is." He calls me back. He says, "It's nothing." We call it. We had to deal with the NHLPA. Anything less than 10 stitches was a shaving cut. Forsberg got 6 stitches. He got clipped on the cheek. We called him back. I said, "Father Pete." He said, "I hope you're suspending him for the balance of the playoffs." I said, "I'm not suspending him at all. It's a shaving cut." "A shaving cut? He tried to kill him." So I told Bettman it's nothing. I go back and look at it. I couldn't believe it. He clipped him on the cheek. 6 stitches.
So anything less than a 10-stitch cut is a shaving cut. Was the motto.
I deal with the union, yeah.
That was right. Were you and Bob? So that was you and Bob Goodenow having an agreement then, right?
Well, Ian Pulver did negotiate the safety side of it. So I went to Gary. It was Gary, typical. Gary said, "You got to make this work for the players." So I said to Ian Pulver, I said, "All right, start with a blank slate. What's the biggest problem you guys have with me or whoever, Brian O'Neill?" They said, "Flying us all the way to New York for here and giving us one game." So, okay, 4 or fewer, you can do it without in person. 5 or more has to be in person. That's the rule they have to this day, or might be 6 now. But that was set up at the union's request. No hearings for 3-game suspensions. Okay, what else? A little blood, get 10 stitches, 12 stitches. It's a shaving cut. Okay, shaving cut, 10 stitches. Now, a bad cut could still be a problem, but in general, you clip someone, it's a shaving cut, no big deal.
I like that. I think that should be in the handbook, and people would be a lot less up in arms with stuff.
Well, I like it. It was good color for you guys.
Oh yeah,
Things are
outstanding.
And again, what's the most fun you had? You never mentioned Sportsnet once.
I like working for Sportsnet. I enjoy it. It's not the same as working for a team, though.
No,
I really liked it. I like the people. I like the commentary. I enjoy it very much. You're right. I should have said something about Sportsnet.
Well,
no, I'm with you, Brian. Like I was at Sportsnet forever, and now working for a team and being able to have skin in the game, even as a broadcaster, it makes a big difference. Whether people look at it as the same job or not, it's different because you care about the athletes, the performance of the team, and whether or not you're winning or not.
Yeah. Well, you're with the studio, a little different job than being with Sportsnet, where you're just doing whatever game. You're not with the team. You have a really good setup with what you guys do. Do a really good job too. It's a little different for sports. I like that job though. It was good. I screwed that up. We went and left for Pittsburgh. Screwed that up.
well,
That was a pretty good opportunity, though.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. I said, oh yeah. I love Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Working with Sid was alone. Just 2.5 years working with Sid would have been worth the whole time.
How would you describe him to those that have never been behind the curtain?
Everything they say about him is true and then some. He's so humble. He's so sincere. First guy, or one of the first guys to send me a note after I got into the Hall of Fame, said, he's not in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have to send me anything. He's going to be, but he's not yet. He was one of the first guys, just extremely gracious. I had to go see him the first week I was there. I said, "How do you want me in?" Because I get a lot of stuff signed for charity. I do a lot of stuff for charity, as you guys know. I said, "Sid, how do I handle this?" He said, "Just give me a bag with however many things you want me to sign." with Mess, I had to be more careful. I had to say to Mess, here's 4 things. He was always good too, but he wanted to know who they were for, right? He was very careful with his stuff. And Sid was like, just leave a bag. Both great guys. But Sid, best I ever had.
It was so cool hearing the athletes that played in 4 Nations and the Olympics talk about getting to play with Sid. And we're talking established NHLers all across the board, that it was a thrill for them just to be able to play and be on the same team as Sid, which do you think that they've experienced it all? They've got it all. And that was something that was next level. I don't think I've heard that outside of the Gretzky-ish type of aura.
Well, I'll tell you a story I was telling with Jeff Merrick on his podcast yesterday. So Bob McCammon, the late great Bob McCammon, was our coach in Vancouver. He was tight with Sid, with Wayne and the boys from Edmonton. So my son Patrick was about 5. And Bob McCammon said, make sure you're out there before practice comes on. So we didn't skate. Building was dark. Edmonton's coming out and skate at 11:30 or whatever. And then Wayne gets set up with Bob McCammon, comes out early. So I'm on the ice skating around with my son, passing the puck to him. Here's Wayne Gretzky. Hi, Mr. Burke. With Wayne Gretzky. So I'm like, he's passing the puck with my son. I got off the ice. I'm like, I don't belong on the ice with Wayne Gretzky. So I know a little bit of what you're saying. No way I'm staying on the ice with him. I don't belong on the ice with him. So I let him stay on the ice with my son until a couple more guys came out and then he got off. I'll never forget that. Wayne was so gracious. That's what Sid's just like him. We're lucky. The guys that play this game, and especially the stars, have left a great legacy of humility and graciousness that persists to this day. Going back to Mr. Beliveau.
You going to wear a tie?
To start with one. I'll start with a tie. I don't think I'll finish with a tie.
Yeah.
You'll actually do it up when you get there?
I do it up at funerals.
Okay.
But if you see me with my tie down up now, it's funerals.
Okay.
Well, going to the Hall of Fame is not a funeral.
No. I know. But I think I got to show some respect and wear the tie in. I don't have to wear it out.
Your challenge, Brian, will be keeping it to the 5 to 7 minutes. They'll send the email saying 5 to 7 minutes. That'll be the issue. You got too many people to think.
Well, I don't know. U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, they gave me a limit. I blew past that. I did about 8 minutes over that one, so we'll see.
The Hall of Fame has no grounds to stand on anymore because Gary went 23 minutes with his speech. So if the commissioner can go 23, anybody can go 23.
I'm not going 23. Some people are going to be disappointed they get left out, but I don't care. It's my night.
I want you to turn the prompters off and just freewheel it.
There you go.
And I can still get fined, I bet.
We'll cover it. 100% hockey will cover your fine. Okay?
Absolutely.
Just know we're there for you.
Well, I got fined $40,000 by Bill Daly for my little rant in the playoffs against Detroit. The Sedins don't play for Detroit Red Wings. This looks like Sedin is not Swedish for punch me in the head or put me in a headlock. I got fined $40,000 for that, but Bill Daly made it conditional, so I never paid it.
Did you make that up on the fly, or is that in the back of your head?
Oh, no, I had notes written down. I had to get that right. We were up 2-0 in that playoff. It was 2-2 after Lidstrom scored that goal. We were slipping away fast. I had to do whatever I could to help. So I said, well, we'll stop. I wrote it out. I got it backwards. I should have said Sweden is not English for put me in. I said it's not Swedish for put me in a headlock. I got it backwards. But I still wrote it out. I had to get that right. The last-ditch attempt is I had to try and save my team.
Well, everybody understood what you were saying.
Yeah, it didn't work, but it was a good try. Players loved it.
Oh, they did. The players on both sides loved it. It was entertaining for the Detroit side, and your side appreciated the loyalty.
Yeah. Fun for about 10 minutes.
Hey, Burke, thanks for doing this. Really, congratulations. It's a well-deserved honor. And when the news broke, because we didn't realize that you were nominated, unlike you, it means a lot for those of us that have been able to cross your paths and work with you.
Thank you. It's a great honor. I'm still stunned, but I love it. Thank you. Thanks for the kind words.
Back with Millard and Shannon on 100% Hockey to wrap up this episode next.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
I like watching your eyes when somebody lets a swear word slip out.
You're getting the real guy. And
then I almost start doing it, and then I'm afraid I'm going to get my hands wrapped.
Yeah. Listen, it's all right if they swear. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's
as long as there's a purpose for it. This is my thing on swearing in podcasts, because we all swear, profanity, in everyday conversation, some more than others. But if you're going to go down that path in podcast, make it have a purpose, make it mean something, not just throwing out whatever, an F-bomb or whatever language you want to use. I'm not going to do it right now, but it just means something if there's a purpose to it or telling a story.
If it helps you tell the story, then go ahead.
Yeah.
And when Brian did it, it helped tell the story. It really did. Yeah. It's funny.
And the good thing is, as we go along here, like some bad words aren't even bad words anymore. We can get away with them a little bit more.
Oh, I know.
We've been desensitized.
I know. That's me. I'm a little more old school, so I'm still thinking that way. I'm still thinking, the rules of broadcasting. George Carlin, seven words that you can't say on television. So that's
well, isn't the rule that you can say them once?
Why? Because you're going to get fired. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the 7 words you can only say once on television.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think of Burke? Were you surprised? Because I hadn't heard his name in the Lamoriello.
I've been asked by a few people over the last couple of years, should Brian Burke be in the Hall of Fame? So I'm not surprised. And again, and I feel like I'm a broken record on this. What we don't know is we don't know who's nominated. We don't. The nomination process is so different than baseball, for instance. So we don't know, when somebody says, well, Phil Kessel's eligible. Well, yeah, Phil Kessel's eligible, but did somebody nominate him?
Well, I'm sure somebody nominated Phil Kessel.
No, you're not. You can't be, because it's so secretive. It's so secretive unless you nominated him. Or unless you
but
know
I'm sure somebody
not
nominated him. Don't tell me what to think or say. I'll get pissed off. See, that's a word you can say now, whereas before it was more.
I don't like it. I don't like it, but that's okay. Anyway, I just don't think that the public acknowledgement of the process of being nominated for the Hockey Hall of Fame is well enough explained over the years. But I've been, that's part and parcel. I mean, there were years, for instance, that Eric Lindros, who we wondered why wasn't he in the Hall of Fame, Alex Mogilny, why wasn't he in the Hall of Fame? There were lots of years they weren't nominated. And yet every year they'd say, well, Lindros didn't get in again. Yeah, but nobody nominated him. And nobody nominated Mogilny. Keith Tkachuk the same way. For a few years was not nominated. So
is it ever acknowledged who the person is that nominates for the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Well, what has to happen is
it's almost like that should be up there, nominated by John Shannon.
Well, what happens is like you and I could do a nomination for somebody.
Yeah. Me.
Okay. And then somebody on the committee, and there's 18 members of the committee, have to actually do the official nomination. So it's a
double nomination?
Basically, it's a two-tiered system, yes.
Makes no sense. I thought if you got nominated, it just went before the group and they said yay or nay.
No, somebody on the committee has to sponsor the nomination. Basically, that's basically what happens. So again, it's very difficult to do.
What do you think of the rest of the group, the player category?
Well, Patrice Bergeron's a no-brainer for me. I think. I mean, I'm happy for Carey Price. I'm happy for Pekka Rinne. I'd heard Carey Price's name. I hadn't heard Pekka Rinne's name. Cindy Curley. Yeah, again, the moment that Jeremy Roenick got in told me that Keith Tkachuk was getting in sooner than later. Again, I think that those are the types of things that you see from the committee that you logically say, well, if Roenick's in, compare Roenick's numbers to Tkachuk's numbers and career. Comparable. So if this group of people, and it hasn't changed very much over the last 2 or 3 years, if Roenick's in, then Tkachuk should be in. And so I think that's where we are. Cindy Curley, the woman that got in, who was a great star for Providence College. I'll be honest, I had not heard her name before. I had not seen her play before, so it's difficult for me to say. But obviously, that the women on the committee, including Cassie Campbell and Cami Granato, felt strongly enough that they convinced other members of the group to vote for them. So
I was happy for Walt because he upstaged his kids. I love it when you upstage your kids.
What a week for the Tkachuks, huh?
Yeah. That's really cool. Good on him. Good man, too. Love that dude. One of my favorite people in our game. Enjoy the next couple of days. Will I see you in Buffalo
I'm not
in
sure
person?
Yet. I don't know. By the way, tomorrow, a bonus show tomorrow while you're in the air. We're going to do a bonus show with Dan Muse, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then when we heard you back on Friday morning, we'll have a draft show.
Yes. Don't be afraid to come down and hang out with me.
Yeah, I might. Who knows? I might come down. I might come down Saturday. How's that?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Saturday's a fun day too. Although I'm busier on Saturday.
Oh, and I'm definitely coming. Then I can bug you.
Come and watch me work.
I've watched you work before.
We'll talk to everybody next time. Dan Muse on the bonus show, and then live, not live, but recorded from the National Hockey League draft next time on 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon.